Good morning. This is your 8:15 daily operations weather briefing. Seeing cloudy conditions around the area this morning with some light rain, sprinkle, or drizzle around the area as well. We'll see that continue as we move through the morning hours, possibly lingering through much of the working hours today. We'll have more significant rain event moving in as we go into the overnight time frame and into the early part of Thursday as that next system will be moving through. We take a look at the current surface analysis. That area of low pressure that was off to our south yesterday, now well off to the east, and tracking that area of low pressure off to the west that will be moving through our region during the overnight time frame tonight and into the day for our Thursday. And that will bring the more widespread rain into the area. For now, over to local areas and move through our working hours today, we're going to see some surface troughing between these two areas of low pressure. And that will be the focal point for the light rain or drizzle we're seeing around the area this morning. Expecting that to become isolated to scattered as we move through the day today and into the evening time frame. Current conditions this morning, seeing scattered clouds around 2,200 feet, broken at 3,200 feet, winds out of the north at 8 knots, temperature 51 degrees, and our relative humidity is at 96%. Take a look at the current visible satellite as well as the composite radar here. We can see some light showers moving in with the out of the northeast across the peninsula here, as well as some reflectivities from the southwest moving into the peninsula as well. Some of this making it to the surface, some of it just remaining elevated precip, but nonetheless, it's going to amount to some of those isolated to scattered light drizzle or light shower as we move through our working hours today. Look at the high resolution model for what we can expect as we move through the next couple of days. As mentioned, we'll continue to see some light reflectivities swinging through the peninsula and the local Wallops area as we move through our working hours today. Not expecting any significant rainfall out of this, but continuing to keep some cloudy conditions around the area. We'll see those winds increasing again as well, becoming fairly breezy today. Good chance of seeing a wind advisory, particularly as we get into the afternoon time frame. And we'll see that hold as we go into the evening. And then as we get into the overnight time frame, we'll see that next area of low pressure tracking into the mid-Atlantic region. It's going to bring some of this more moderate to heavier shower activity developing and moving into the local Wallops areas we pass the midnight time frame. Could see a chance of an embedded thunderstorm with some of this activity as well. And we'll once again see some fairly windy conditions as this activity moves through the area, and expecting that to continue to do so as we move through the early morning hours of Thursday and into the start of the day on Thursday at least, possibly lingering into the first part of the afternoon. But we'll see as we get into the later part of the afternoon and into the evening time frame as system starts tracking away with the boundary pushing majority of the precip out of the area, and seeing those winds shifting more westerly and those clouds starting to break. And that will funnel in some slightly cooler but more seasonable air as we move into the day on Friday, with things remaining slightly breezy to breezy overnight into the day Friday. And then Friday looks like it's going to be a dry weather day with more seasonable temperatures, but we'll see a return of fairly windy conditions again on Friday, with some partly to mostly cloudy conditions at times, and seeing those winds peaking in the 30 to 40 mile per hour range before things start to clear up as we go into the evening time frame. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do have orange risk for precip this morning and keeping a yellow risk through the afternoon into the first part of the evening before increasing back to an orange risk and eventually a red risk. So colors through the working hours today, mainly for that light rain chance or light drizzle as we move through the day today. Might see a few peaks of suns, but generally expecting cloudy conditions. And we introduce a orange risk for winds above 25 knots to that wind advisory criteria as we get into the afternoon. That's when we'll start to see those peak winds increasing. Still continuing with the onshore wind, 12 to 17 knots of peak gust up to 26 knots as we move through the working hours today. Going into the evening, as mentioned, we increased to a red risk for precip after midnight, with those showers becoming likely. We introduced a yellow risk for lightning with the chance of an embedded thunderstorm, and by then we will be at a red risk, likely in a wind advisory, as we'll start to see those gusts exceeding 30 knots as we pass the midnight time frame. And with that shower and unsettled activity, we'll have a chance for those reduced ceilings and visibilities as well. We'll see tides running about 1.5 to 2.5 feet above normal, and that will continue to be the case as we continue to see these onshore winds in the area. And looking at the next couple of days, as mentioned, we'll continue to see shower activity with a chance of a thunderstorm as we start our day on Thursday, and as we get into the late afternoon towards the close of business, should see things start to quiet down as far as the rain and thunderstorm activity go, but nonetheless keeping a red risk for precip, yellow for that lightning chance, and we'll keep slightly breezy to breezy conditions around, so an orange risk of seeing the wind advisory continuing into the day on Thursday. We'll see that rain ending as mentioned late, and those clouds starting to break, and we'll see a slightly milder day ahead of that wind shift with those more southerly winds ahead of that, and seeing that high around 68 degrees. Thursday night, fairly quiet with the exception of the breezy conditions, so keeping a yellow risk for a chance of seeing wind advisory continue into the evening time frame there, but we'll see decreasing clouds, cooler temperatures with a low around 49 degrees, and then more seasonable for Friday and windy, again gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour, so red risk for that wind advisory likely again on Friday, and we'll see mostly to partly cloudy conditions during the first half of the day, and then increasing sun as we get later in the day for our Friday. That's going to wrap up the 8 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again at 10 a.m. to take a look at the extended forecast. Enjoy your morning.